Welcome back to another episode of the Unquestioned Podcast with Louis de Bade and Willem Himpen. Luigi, we are back, but this is a special episode because when we actually were, or you as well, when we were looking back to our calendar, it is actually 3 years ago where we recorded our first episode.
Yes.
So we would love to actually take this episode to go a little bit of recap what we spoke about during that episode, and as well how it evolved
What's
throughout the
happened in the
years.
last 3 years?
Yes, with ourselves, with our goals, with the podcast itself. So maybe first of all, Louis, do you want to do a quick intro and a little bit about yourself?
Well, we both listened to the episode, and my first reaction was, would I introduce myself in the same way? I
And is
talked
it?
about living around Europe, working at a tech company. That is all still the case. It
hmm
was funny to hear you talk about your studies. Would you still mention that when you tell people who you
Well,
are
yeah,
and what you do?
funny thing is when I heard myself introducing myself, I wouldn't, because the funny thing is education is something that was really important to me back then because I invested 5 years into it and I thought this is like a differentiator. But if I now introduce myself to customers, to other people at a networking event, I immediately go into what I've accomplished as a founder or as an employee, and kind of what I want to do in the future. So the doesn't matter anymore what I studied. It helped me as well, kind of involve it, or let's say create the person that I want to be. But I would not. It's like no one says it anymore after a couple of years after your studies. Only maybe people that put it on a high pedestal or where it's really important in which type of school you studied. Then maybe it's relevant. So,
Yeah.
but you for yourself, you actually spoke a lot about, like you said, large scale development, and that was really your motivation at Spotify. Would you as well state today that that is still your motivation and you get the most energy from?
I'm still there. I was relatively had been working at Spotify for less than 6 months at that point.
hmm
I've changed teams a few times, but I'm still there. I've learned a lot during the course. The stock price went times 6, because that was right after the COVID crash in the market. So now we're actually looking at the next crash that could happen in the stock market. And two notable big events. One funny little Easter egg is it was your birthday, and you told me right then and there. So once again, this time, happy birthday, Willem.
Thank you so much. We're recording this on my birthday, and the friendship was still, let's say, in the beginning steps
Yeah,
or in the early stages, and we didn't memorize each other's birthday yet.
you put me on the
And
spot, you bastard.
I put you on the
You told
spot.
we had to edit it out, but it was a total surprise. No more. We also asked if we wanted to curse on the podcast, and we said we're not going to censor ourselves. I think we certainly didn't do that.
Mm-mm.
Another notable anniversary is ChatGPT.
Yes.
ChatGPT
Chat-
had just come out. It was less than a month since ChatGPT was let loose onto the world, and it's kind of crazy to think that it's been out for 3 years and it's so much smarter.
Yeah. The funny thing is, you introduced me to ChatGPT. I remember still being in your apartment, having a catch up, and you showed me this app on your website where you could chat. And in the beginning, I was like, "Who is chatting back here? What is happening here?" And I still remember as well. I was surprised about the speed of it, and as well the things you could ask for it. Okay, even then it was, I think, the model 3.5.
Yep.
It already felt like like a shitty, like, this is not a, the censorship, but a shitty human, but it was still felt like a human. And
A
it from
LinkedIn
the,
person.
yeah, and I saw other startups immediately trying to use the API, putting it into their product. Everyone got really excited because this was the early stages of, oh, what a general human can do with natural language. Now, actually, an algorithm or a computer program can do as well. So the possibilities of startups that could be created was, let's say, an infinite more or an infinite more capabilities that these startups could build. So that was really like insane.
Yeah,
Um,
I was quite impressed by the episode overall. We touched on a lot of our favorite recurring subject. It was almost like a best of episode. So we keep coming back to the same things, and our understanding of what ChatGPT was and wasn't was actually already pretty good. I think a lot of people today still don't understand the impact of it, or don't understand what's new about it, what it does. But we were already saying that this time the computer is learning our language instead of us programmers and technical people having to learn the language, the programming language of the computer, and meaning it would make it a lot more accessible because you can finally talk to the computer in natural language, which is what ChatGPT allows you to do, and LLMs, large language models in general. You also teased the open source potential of it. Like you said, I hope it, there's going to be open source versions of this because it would just help everyone, and that has also become the case.
It's been the case and not the case, I feel like, because
True.
OpenAI, the company was initially started by Sam Altman and Elon Musk and other people with the intention of really being open source. And I do agree with them in regards to step by step, they made it more closed off because they felt like if you really want to innovate and go fast, you need to have a model where the people that's working in it and people investing in it as well and get a profit out of it, or it's a risk that they put their money into that they should deserve a reward.
And
And I
compete
think
with Google, right?
compete with Google, compete with let's say Grok now. That was not even a
Uh-huh.
thing back then.
Mhm.
So if they wouldn't have done it, they would definitely not be in the race. And that's kind of a great move. But the thing is, we did see that a lot of these companies are releasing the open source models, often a lot inferior models, even sometimes really the strong models like DeepSeek in China, that is also
Yep.
really in the race. And if they wouldn't be been doing that, a lot of startups wouldn't have still be, let's say, in the race or still be alive because they can use very strong models and very low prices. If they would have probably a lot of companies, if they compare, if I would run my company with API calls, so just calling the strongest models there is from these big companies or with an open source model, they would probably immediately see like, oi, we're actually bankrupt if we would do it that way. But I hope it still evolves, and I think the open source models needs to as well, cannot stop and need to evolve together with the high performing models that are more closed off. But we'll see how it's going to evolve.
Yeah, talking about competition for OpenAI, Google has actually been to hell and back. So
Hmm.
people were worried that this is going to be finally a Google killer, finally competition for Google when it came to search. So their stock, people lost confidence in Google to catch up, and they've caught up. Even Warren Buffett is convinced, and so now it's looking bleak and not so great for ChatGPT. Same thing happened with Apple. People were like, Apple's missed the race, but their
The boat.
stock is still hitting all-time highs. And yeah, it's interesting to see over 3 years that there was a panic, and then we're back, and
Yeah.
now it's
one thing that was really amazing about about Google is two things. One, an insight you gave me. So often you have different companies how they started. You have Facebook that is really the hacker community, and an example here at Google is really kind of the PhD, very intelligent,
Academic,
in
yeah.
academic, let's say, academic background that they really make search so index, let's say, the whole world of information and make information accessible to everyone. And that kind of often in the academic world, it takes time. And the same way they've developed the stone or the starting point of this large language model, the transformer, and it took a lot of time for them because they had the innovator's dilemma. It took time for them to as well get ahead or get started into the race, but now they're on the top. Plus, another thing that as well I've heard with Google is a founder that I spoke with of ML6. That is a Belgian AI company that is really doing well. And even he said it 3.5 years ago. Is like people are not thinking of Google enough because they still have the raw capabilities, the let's say a lot of the data that they have, and maybe in the short run, these OpenAIs and Trophics, they can get ahead, but in the long run, watch out because Google is coming. And now,
Yes.
3.5 years later,
And they have TPUs. That's competition for NVIDIA. They make custom chips. So looking at how important energy and the compute are, they certainly have a lot of Apple as well, a lot of assets.
Yeah. Well, so we'll see if these big companies, if they still have the major advantage. And the funny thing you as well said is that these, I'm not sure, you have to maybe correct me, but do these big companies, do they become the large language model more of a commodity, or do they really have a competitive advantage?
Good question. I've changed my mind about this,
Mm,
and what we think happens is, oh, there's a new technology that allows a lot more startups, a lot of more competition, and that's bad for big enterprise. But I don't think that is the case anymore. It's more comparable to the coming of mobile
mhm,
and or cloud computing. So Facebook and Spotify existed before the iPhone,
mhm,
right? It was just an app or a website that you would visit on your laptop.
mhm,
And for them, mobile, changes our lives. Now you have your phone in your pocket, but they just had to adapt, and it wasn't a bad thing for big companies. And the same thing applies here. From what I can see, it just makes everybody more productive. It's like not having electricity, and all of a sudden you have electricity. You cannot do a lot more. And yeah, I'm actually not sure that it helps. Like it's actually quite good if you have a strong, a good organization with strong fundamentals. So Apple, they make their own chips.
mhm.
So does Google, and so they have this vertical integration, this advantage, and it's a good thing for them.
Yeah. And yeah, the more vertically integrated you are as a company, in my opinion, the more and more a monopoly you kind of create, or the others that aren't vertically integrated will die due to the cost
Yeah,
being
there's
too
no
high.
extra advantage. There's no like it's not so disruptive anyway. It makes us have more of things. If software is the invention of fire, then this is a bigger fire.
Yeah, true. And I think Tesla or Grok and the companies he has, let's say, acquired, Elon Musk, he is as well really trying to vertically integrate everything into it. One thing as well that I wanted to highlight in this 3-year recap, let's say, episode is you yourself. I was very dubious or not certain about your statement of that humans will generate UI based off prompting, of based off what they wanted. I said, like, why would I in the Spotify app, let's say I want this button green, or I want this user interface? felt like everyone has in a different Spotify app. It didn't look like a reality. I have to confess, like there has been now massive companies. One of the large or the fastest growing startup in Europe, which is Lovable. Not sure if that data will still be accurate, but they literally are built on people prompting to build their own software. And I saw an example of a small company that just by prompting created their own CRM, their own kind of ERP, and all the key software that is normally just as software off the shelf bought or software as a service. And now they actually just buy one and they just prompt and build
Yeah.
the UI themselves what they need. Not the individual, but still the business. So that was quite kind of impressive. Do you think this trend will continue actually, Louis? I'd love to. Or
Yes. The way I would describe it to people is the reason that the software, the interface on our iPhones looks the same is that we don't have one Apple engineer per user, per device. If that would be the case, they could look at you and me and say, okay, well, what would you like a personal private chef? And they could design the interface just for you. Well, AI kind of allows you to do that. AI can think like your personal designer, and not at the hardware level. Everybody's got the same physical device, but at least we may be able to customize our device, make it more personal. And once again, that sounds like a benefit and a win for the existing giants. It's just gonna make the winners win even more as long as they truly, have something different, and that they work from first principles.
Yeah, and based on what you just said, is a person that would have a Apple iPhone engineer that you can talk with and that it's working for you. The same with an assistant. The same that does your email and your calendar, and the same with all these other stuff. That you have a whole team that you can orchestrate and work
Yep.
work for you. So that's it's not yet the case, but it is step by step, maybe getting into there, into that.
We've got some funny stats as well. We mentioned MrBeast. I was curious. I went ahead and looked up how many subscribers he had at that time. He was already big, already the biggest YouTube channel. But back then he had 116 million subscribers. Do you know how many subscribers he has today? Have you
I
checked?
would say a multiple of that, but I don't know personally how many it is.
I think
I know
you'd
he's
be
the biggest
surprised.
YouTube channel. That is all I know. But give me the goods.
It's winner take all. I was surprised myself. I was ready for it, but it's 450 million.
That's
That is quite incredible, knowing that he had already won back then. And same thing with Spotify. When I joined, we had 450 million monthly active users, meaning users that use the app, they open it at least once a month. And now that number has grown to over 700 million. That's not thanks to me. I can't take credit for that, but it did help a little bit. And that just goes to show, like, even when somebody's clearly already a winner, most of the rewards come at the end. And the stock kind of reflects that, because it's gone more than times 5 in those short 3 years.
Yeah, and I would add as well is the insights that, for example, MrBeast or Spotify has built up throughout its life, are that much more valuable in the last years, and why one decision, the effort, let's say, is immense in the beginning for minimal effort or minimum results. So very big effort for minimal results, and if you keep compounding it, it is minimal effort but maximum results based on what you've built up. And the same, I think, applies here to Spotify, where in the beginning, to get the first people understanding what Spotify is, massive effort, minimum value or reward, and then it switches, let's say, now a decade later or more.
Yes. So please, reminder to ourselves, let your winners ride, and don't sell too early before all the rewards accumulate.
Yeah, perfect. Well, I think this was a fun episode. Hopefully, you guys enjoy it with a little recap. And I think the last thing we said as well, of in the beginning, it's a lot of effort with minimal reward or profit. That's maybe as well our podcast right now. And we hope if we just stay consistent and keep growing, getting better, bringing more amazing episodes with good insights in the future as well. It will be less effort, but very big value to all of you. So hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you back on another episode of the Unquestioned Podcast. See you soon. Bye bye.
Bye bye.